Seku Company, Igruta Port Harcourt. Come there for private oracle consultation, spiritual healing. My people, we must not be careless of any disease, either infectious, deficiency, hereditary, physiological, or psychological. All we need is to be guided and consent. Herbal Mercy has potent ingredients that can be used as food to meet medical requirements. We also have machine to trace and know the kind of disease in your body and what to do. Shifa Woyemi Herbal Healing Home at New Stadium Road, back of Seku Company, Igruta Port Harcourt. Call him on 081 341 849 88. Again, 081 341 849 88. Woyemi Herbal Healing Home, now in Port Harcourt.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM. Whether it's happening in Port Harcourt, South South, Nigeria, or around the world, we've got you covered. On air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1. Whether it's happening in Port Harcourt, South South, Nigeria, or...
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Good evening, here's a news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Kala Dakurubasubo. The River State Police Command has announced the arrest of 4 suspected cultists in Rumolumeni community in Obiakpo local government area of the state. A statement by the command spokesman Inamdi Omuni said the suspects were allegedly behind the incessant cold wars in the area in recent times. According to the statement, the suspects were arrested last week in a sting operation at about 9 p.m., disclosing that they have made useful confessions. The command said they were arrested with 1 English-made revolver pistol and 3 live ammunition. In the meantime, the police have assured that efforts are on to arrest other members of the gang, adding that the suspects would be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded. The statement gave the details of the suspects as Gostam Rossi Wamaru, who is 20 years old from Obakari in MOA local government area of the state, Miracle Ogbona, 22 years from Abia State, Raymond Abdullahi Mahmoud, 21-year-old from Edo State, and Gift Ugbena Douglas, 20 years old from Andone, local government area of the state. The police therefore called for the support of the general public in the fight against armed banditry in the state. The people of K-Dere community in Gokana local government area of River State have threatened legal action against the Nigerian Army and Shell Petroleum Development Company over alleged killing of 2 people in their community. Speaking in an interview with correspondent Uchendu Ejowo, the chairman K-Dere Community Development Committee, Faustus Legbara, said the community have concluded plans to challenge the actions of soldiers in the community last week. Legbara made a disclosure Legbara made the disclosure while reacting to denial of the army made by the army about the death of 2 persons in the community.
So they have to be held responsible. They are the people that they are going to explain to us our involvement or the reasons for the attack and the harassment that we experienced. We have asked those that has the competencies to go out and make those quotations, so that we can be able to know, to ascertain what actually is damaged, what is lost. Specifically, is the cause that is more important to us, but because the guy is the breadwinner to that family, and he was not on the pipeline. He was at where he was working on the Sandy School building, where the stray bullet reached him. So we are on the process to get those informations accurate, so that we can pass it to the governing bodies.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has described as fake a trending report that scores of candidates who sat for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination have been reduced. The board, in a statement signed by its head of media and publicity, Fabian Benjamin, said the report was false and fraudulent and meant to extort parents and candidates. The report had claimed that scores of candidates who sat for the UTME and were found wanting by the board were being reduced by 100 marks. JAM said that an investigation carried out discovered that the fake news emanated from a gang who coordinated from a town called Igara in Edo State with affiliates in Lagos and other states. It could be recalled that the board's head on media publicity, Benjamin, had warned candidates not to be carried away by rumors and misleading information in sections of social media. Benjamin also said that the board distances itself from such rumors about releasing results of candidates of the just concluded UTME, and steps to check these results has been speculated. The presidency has declared that the job creation strategy of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration is yielding results. The senior special assistant to the president on job creation, Afolabi Imokwede, made the declaration on television program monitored from Port Harcourt. The presidential aide said the Empower program alone took about 500,000 youths out of the labor market. He also noted that several other programs, particularly in the small and medium enterprise and agriculture, have also helped in reducing the unemployment rate in the country.
When you talk about jobs, agriculture is one area where we've done a whole lot of work and there's been a whole lot of reforms. And if you see, there are a lot of small businesses, small businesses, even technology-driven small businesses like the Tribe Agrics and all that is happening in that space. A lot of aggregation is happening. A lot of exports are also happening in the agri space. And they are not old people in the jobs. There are a lot of young people and young businesses in the jobs that are also bringing in more people into jobs as well. So that's one. Aside from that, there's also been the immediate approach to stemming unemployment with the Empower program, where we have 500,000 youth across the country engaged directly by the federal government, even though they serve in all of the states and FCT. So that again, 500,000 out of the labor market. And this is aside from the many others, in the MSME framework that we have been very much aggressive about.
The National Judicial Council has removed Justice Walter Onogen's name from the council's members list and named the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Muhammad, as the acting chairman. Checks on the official website of the council revealed that Justice Onogen is no longer on the list of current council members. The council list is now made up of 23 members instead of the full membership of 24, with Justice Onogen now listed among former chair of the council. This follows Onogen's conviction of false and non-declaration of assets by the Code of Conduct Tribunal. A wave of bombings that killed 290 people in Sri Lanka on Sunday was carried out with the support of an international network. This is according to a government official who blamed a little-known local jihadist group, National Tawhid Jamaat, for the attack, although no one has yet admitted carrying out the bombings. Another 500 people were injured in the suicide attacks on churches and hotels. Police arrested 24 people in a series of raids, and the President's office declared a state of national emergency. The emergency declaration, which comes into effect from midnight today, will give police and military extensive powers to detain and interrogate suspects without court orders. And that's all we have for you on the bulletin at 8 p.m. Thank you for listening. I am Kala Dakorubasibo. Stay tuned. World Today is up next.
Do you want to be competitive on the global scene? And how well can you use your available resources to generate income? How strong and loyal is your team? How efficient is your leadership? Are you able to do business outside your comfort zone? Can you create products and services that are relevant to your market? Can you manage people from different cultural backgrounds? How powerful is your brand? How well can you juggle life and business? Can you do more with less time? Come learn efficient cross-cultural communication skills. Learn influencing skills. Learn world-class productivity and efficiency. Expand your business horizons. Get fresh new ideas. Break new grounds and learn to manage a world-class enterprise on Doing Business with Stephanie Pius. every Monday night at 8 p.m. on Today 95.1 FM.
That's really something.
Imagine a society where there's respect for rule of law. Imagine a society that is violence-free. Imagine a society where we live together as one. Imagine a society free from all forms of abuse and harassment. Imagine the possibility of an HIV-free generation. It begins with you. This message is powered by your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
Today 95.1 FM.
Good morning. My name is Ifeanyi. I'm calling you from. Hello?
Yes, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
My name is William. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, William from Port Harcourt. Go ahead.
Talk radio.
You have a right to say no, right? All right.
I'm calling from Unipua.
Okay, thank you so much from Yenagua.
We are the station that needs no introduction. Of course, you know, we give the best in news, sports,
You like football, right?
entertainment, politics. In fact, call it talk.
Yes, we know there's a lot you want to hear, and that is why we talk about everything.
Talk radio.
We're right before you. It's just a dial away. This is your number one premium talk radio. Today, 95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the name is the one who made the public know about
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Talk radio.
I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Good evening. This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, Voice of the People, and it is time again for a rundown of the foreign news stories that made the headlines on the world today. In our package tonight, Egypt votes for a final day on extending LCC's rule.
Sudan's military leader vows to hand power to people.
Ukraine comedian Zelensky becomes president-elect in landslide win.
Myanmar's Supreme Court to rule on jailed journalist appeal. I am Buchi Rafua.
And I am Kala Dakuru Batubo. We begin today's edition with a report from Egypt which says Egyptians are voting for a third and final day on constitutional amendments that would allow President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to remain in office until 2030. The referendum is virtually guaranteed to be approved as the government pushes for high turnout to grant it legitimacy. Reports say authorities have waged a wide-scale crackdown on dissent since el-Sisi led the military overthrow of an elected but divisive Islamist president in 2013. The referendum is widely seen as another step towards restoring authoritarian rule 8 years after a pro-democracy uprising. Opposition parties who have little influence in parliament, which is packed with el-Sisi supporters who overwhelmingly approve the changes, have called on voters to reject the measure.
Meanwhile, in Sudan, Sudan's interim leaders at the Transitional Military Council that has run the country since the overthrow of longtime leader Omar al-Bashir is committed to handing power to a civilian authority. But opposition leaders said they had suspended talks with the military rulers because they did not believe their pledge to transfer control of the North African country. Lieutenant General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan said the Transitional Military Council is complementary to the uprising and the revolution, adding that the council is committed to handing over power to the people. But the opposition leaders later told supporters to a major rally in the capital Khartoum that the military had failed to meet their demands and negotiations, which would be replaced with further demonstrations. Al-Burhan also said Khartoum will send a delegation to Washington to seek the removal of Sudan from the United States state sponsors of terrorism list.
In South Sudan, deposed President Omar al-Bashir is being investigated following charges of money laundering and possession of large sums of foreign currency without legal grounds. A judicial source revealed how the military intelligence had searched al-Bashir's home and found suitcases loaded with more than 351,000 US dollars and 6 million euros, as well as 5 million Sudanese pounds. Al-Bashir, who is also being sought by the International Criminal Court over allegations of genocide in the country's western Darfur region, was ousted on 11th of this month by the military following months of protests against his rule and had been held at the presidential residence. Following the development, the Sudanese Professionals Association leading the protest has called for holding al-Bashir and members of his administration to account, a purge of corruption and cronyism, and easing an economic crisis that worsened during al-Bashir's last years in power. Also, the Sudanese Transitional Military Council ordered the central bank to review al-Bashir's financial transfers since April and also seize what the council described as suspect funds. The council also ordered the suspension of the transfer of ownership of any shares until further notice, and for any large or suspect transfers of shares or companies to be reported to authorities.
A Supreme Court in Myanmar will tomorrow rule on an appeal of two journalists imprisoned for breaking a colonial-era official secret law in a case that has raised questions about the country's transition to democracy. Reports say 33-year-old Walong and 29-year-old Kwai Soy have spent more than 16 months in detention since they were arrested in December 2017 while working on an investigation into the killing of 10 Rohingya Muslim men during a military crackdown in the western part of the country. The government has said they had been found in possession of secret documents that could have harmed national security. Outlining their grounds of appeal in March, the reporter's lawyer, Ken Mangzo, cited lack of proof of a crime and evidence that the pair was set up by police. A district court judge in Yangon had found the two journalists guilty under the Official Secrets Act last September and sentenced them to 7 years in prison after rejecting any earlier appeal.
Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has arrived in neighboring Iran for bilateral talks a day after Islamabad urged Iran to act against armed groups behind the killings in Pakistan's Balochistan province earlier this week. Khan began his official two-day visit to Iran, the first since he took office last year, with a stop in the northeastern holy Shia city of Mashhad. Khan is expected to meet with Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and President Hassan Rouhani, as well as other officials in Tehran today. In the course of their meetings, improving bilateral ties, border security, countering terrorism, and regional issues will be discussed. Prime Minister Imran Khan visits shrine of Imam Raza at Mashhad and offers Fatiha as he prays for the prosperity of the people and the country.
In Ukraine, a comedian with no political experience is reported to have drawn congratulations from global leaders after a landslide victory in Ukraine's presidential election. Volodymyr Zelensky, whose only previous political role was playing the president in a TV show, reportedly beat incumbent Petro Poroshenko by taking 73% of the vote. Poroshenko garnered just 25.5% losing to the 41-year-old comedian and actor across the country. It was an extraordinary outcome to a campaign that started as a joke but struck a chord with voters frustrated by social injustice, corruption, and a war with the Russian-backed separatists in eastern Ukraine that has claimed some 13,000 lives. The star of the TV series Servants of the People will now take the helm of a country of 45 million people beset by challenges and having run on the vaguest of political platforms. Congratulations poured in from Europe and beyond, with French President Emmanuel Macron and Poland's Andrzej Duda congratulating the Ukrainian president-elect by phone. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg and President of European Council Donald Tusk said they looked forward to continuing support and cooperation. Also, 53-year-old Poroshenko conceded defeat, saying that the results were clear and enough reason for him to call and congratulate his opponents.
Sri Lanka's Health Minister Rajita Senarathne has claimed that a local organization is linked to the string of bombings that killed nearly 300 people and wounded 500 others. Senarathne earlier today blamed President Maithripala Sirisena's government for failing to act on intelligence shared 14 days before the multiple blasts that targeted churches and luxury hotels across the island nation. Speaking at a press conference in the capital, Colombo, Senarathne said the failure to act against the hardline Muslim local organization had devastated the entire country. He hinted at the possible role of an international network in the Easter Sunday attacks that have shocked the island nation. Though no group has claimed responsibility for the attack so far, the government has declared April 23 as a day of national mourning following the worst attack in the nation since its civil war ended a decade ago. Senarathne's criticism of President Sirisena, who heads security forces, comes a day after Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe acknowledged that there was information about possible attacks.
And in England, reports say an Iraq War veteran and Democratic congressman from Massachusetts, Seth Moulton, has entered the 2020 presidential nomination contest, swelling the ranks of declared contenders to almost 20. Moulton reported enters the race as an underdog with little national name recognition and a shorter track record than some of his opponents who have spent years in the United States Senate or as state governors. But the 40-year-old has already built a political career driven by challenging the party's establishment. First elected to Congress in 2014, he won the seat after mounting a primary challenge against John Turner, a fellow Democrat who had held the seat for 18 years. Moulton had from 2001 to 2008 served in the Marines, and in 2014 he became a vocal critic of the Iraq War in which he served, saying no more troops should be deployed to the country. He also has advocated stricter gun laws, saying military-style weapons should not be owned by civilians, but supported the legalization of marijuana, saying he started smoking pot while in college.
The United States is expected to announce that buyers of Iranian oil need to end imports soon or face sanctions, a development which will trigger by 3% crude prices to the highest for 2019 so far. Although Asia officials have opposed the expected move, pointing to tight market conditions and high fuel prices that are harming industries, the official confirmed a report by the Washington Post that the administration will terminate the sanctions waivers it granted to some importers of Iranian oil last year. U.S. President Donald Trump wants to end the waivers to exert maximum economic pressure on Iran by cutting off its oil exports and reducing its main revenue source to zero. Saudi Arabia, the world's top oil exporter, was willing to compensate the potential supply loss, but it would first need to assess the impact before boosting its own production. The U.S. had in November last year reimposed sanctions on exports of Iranian oil after President Trump unilaterally pulled out of a 2015 nuclear accord between Iran and 6 world powers. Washington, however, granted waivers to Iran's 8 main buyers: China, India, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Turkey, Italy, and Greece, that allowed them limited purchases for 6 months. All markets have tightened this year because of supply cuts led by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. Again, the headlines.
Egyptians are voting for a final day on extending LCC's rule.
Sudan's military leader has vowed to hand power to people.
Ukraine comedian Zelensky has become the president-elect in landslide win.
Myanmar's Supreme Court will tomorrow rule on jailed journalist appeal.
And that concludes tonight's edition of The World Today, as produced by Stella Sasongo of the News Department.
So same time tomorrow, do have a lovely evening.
I am Buchi Rafua.
And I am Kala Dakurubatubo.
Good evening.
Whether it's happening in Port Harcourt, South, Nigeria, or around the world, we've got you covered. On air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1 FM.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
It's that time on radio. Let's take you into the life and times of men and women who inspire, role models who have shaped the world.
Olufumilayo Ransom Kuti, also known as Frances Abigail Olufumilayo Thomas. She was born on October 25th in the 1900s in Abeokuta, Ogun State of Nigeria. Her father was a son of a Nigerian slave who returned from Sierra Leone and traced his ancestral history back to Abeokuta in what is today known as Ogun State, Nigeria. After her early education, Fumilayo Ransom Kuti attended the Abeokuta Grammar School, after which she traveled to England for further studies. She later came back to Nigeria and became a teacher. On January 20th, 1925, Fumilayo Ransom Kuti got married to Reverend Israel Oludotun Ransom Kuti, one of the founders of both the Nigerian Union of Teachers and of the Nigerian Union of Students, and the defender of the commoners. They had 3 sons: Fela Anikulapo Kuti, a musician; Beko Ransom Kuti, a doctor; and Professor Olukoye Ransom Kuti, a doctor and former health minister of Nigeria. She was also grandmother to musicians Sheun Kuti and Femi Kuti. In the year 1965, Fumilayo Ransom Kuti received the National Honor of Membership in the Order of Nigeria and was bestowed the Honorary Doctorate of Laws by the University of Ibadan. Throughout her career, Fumilayo was also known as an educator and an activist. She founded an organization for women in Abeokuta that had more than 20,000 women as members, including both literate and illiterate women. The general public became aware of her organization when Fumilayo Ransom Kuti rallied women against price controls. The general public became aware of the organization when Fumilayo Ransom Kuti rallied women against price controls that were negatively affecting the female merchants of the Abeokuta market. In the year 1949, she led a protest against the Alake of Igbaland, a native authority. She then made a presentation of documents alleging abuse of authority by the Alake, whom the then government granted the rights to collect taxes. The Alake subsequently relinquished his crown. She also led a movement that oversaw the successful abolishing of separate tax rates for women. In the year 1953, she founded the Federation of Nigerian Women's Societies, an association that subsequently formed an alliance with the Women's International Democratic Federation. Fumilayo Ransom Kuti campaigned for and ensured that women's votes counted during elections. She was also the founder of Egba Women's Union, an association she co-founded with Eniola Soyinka, her sister-in-law, and the mother of the Nigerian Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka. This organization is said to, at a particular point in time, had a membership of 20,000 women. During the period of the Cold War between the West, the former USSR, and before the independence of Nigeria, Fumilayo Kuti traveled widely around the world, and this got the Nigerian as well as British and American governments angry because they believed that she maintained contact with the Eastern Bloc as she traveled a lot to the former USSR, Hungary, and China, where she met Mao Zedong. In 1956, the government refused to renew her passport because it was assumed that she intended to influence Nigerian women with communist ideas and policies. Almost at the same time, the United States refused her visa because the American government alleged that she was a communist. Before Nigeria's independence of 1960, Fumilayo founded the Communist People's Party in an attempt to challenge the ruling NCNC. This action ultimately denied the NCNC victory in her area. During her lifetime, Funmilayo Ransom Kuti also organized workshops for illiterate market women. When she became old, Funmilayo's activism was overshadowed by that of her three sons, who ultimately provided effective opposition to various Nigerian military juntas. In 1978, Funmilayo Ransom Kuti was thrown down from a third-floor window of her son Fela's compound. When the compound was stormed by about 1,000 armed military personnel, she went into a coma in February of that year and died on April 13, 1978, as a result of injuries. Olufunmilayo Ransom Kuti served with distinction as one of the most prominent leaders of her generation, and she was also noted as the first woman in Nigeria to drive a car.
Personality profile. Now you know.
Do you want to be competitive on the global scene? And how well can you use your available resources to generate income? How strong and loyal is your team? How efficient is your leadership? Are you able to do business outside your comfort zone? Can you create products and services that are relevant to your market? Can you manage people from different cultural backgrounds? How powerful is your brand? How well can you juggle life and business? Can you do more with less time? Come learn efficient cross-cultural communication skills. Learn influencing skills. Learn world-class productivity and efficiency. Expand your business horizons. Get fresh new ideas. Break new grounds and learn to manage a world-class enterprise on Doing Business with Stephanie Pius. Every Monday night at 8 p.m. on Today 95.1 FM.
That's really something.
Do you want to be competitive on the global scene? And how well can you use your available resources to generate income? How strong and loyal is your team? How efficient is your leadership? Are you able to do business outside your comfort zone? Can you create products and services that are relevant to your market? Can you manage people from different cultural backgrounds? How powerful is your brand? How well can you juggle life and business? Can you do more with less time? Come learn efficient cross-cultural communication skills. Learn influencing skills. Learn world-class productivity and efficiency. Expand your business horizons. Get fresh new ideas. Break new grounds and learn to manage a world-class enterprise on Doing Business with Stephanie Pius. Every Monday night at 8 p.m. on Today 95.1 FM.
That's really something.
Hello and good evening. This is Stephanie Pius and welcome to this episode of Doing Business. This is Doing Business on Today 95.1 FM. On this show, we talk about how we can do business, create more jobs, and make impact. You want to live beyond paying rent, school fees, and flying abroad, or finding something to eat. You want to empower other people to build houses, give scholarships, and buy cars for others. Then this is the radio program for you. So join me every Monday night by 8:30 p.m. to listen to Doing Business with Stephanie Pius. Tonight, I'm going to talk about personal development for business owners, and after that, I'll be talking to Mr. Ejikeme Okeke about snail farming. You remember Mr. Ejikeme Okeke some few weeks back? He came in and he spoke to us about quail farming. I'm sure you really enjoyed that episode of Doing Business. So tonight, he's going to be talking about snail farming. A lot of people have done snail farming. You're familiar with snail farming. A lot of us eat snails, so you know what it is. And tonight he's going to talk to us about how to do the snail farming business and how to make money out of it. First of all, I'm going to talk to you about personal development for business owners. For example, you own a business and you'd like the business to do better. The first step to getting your business to do better is to get yourself to become better. I remember I had a mentor some years back and she used to say something. She used to say, don't wish that it was easier, wish that you were better. Do not wish that it was easier, wish that you were better. So in order for you to add value to your customers, you need to add value to your business. And in order for you to add value to your business, you need to add value to yourself. People pay you to add value. They don't pay you because they like you or you look nice. They pay you to add value in business. Customers are not usually that sentimental, just like employers are not that sentimental. Your employer is not paying you for sitting at his desk from morning till night. He's paying you for the value that you bring to his business. So that's the same thing with customers. They want you to add value. They want to get something out of you. So everyone goes where they can get value. If you want more customers, then you need to be able to add more value to your customers. So there was something that was found out about people that are very successful in business, and one thing that was found out about them by researchers in the United States was that there was a difference between the way they saw things. They had a different perspective from other people who were not so successful in business. And the main perspective that was seen in their way of thinking was that they had a long-time perspective. That is lifelong success mentality. They did not have this short-term thinking mentality going on whereby they wanted to make a quick buck or they wanted to make all the money today without thinking about the long-term success of their business. So in order for you to be successful, you have to develop a long-time perspective. When you have a long-time perspective, it becomes easier for you to engage in personal development. It becomes easier and much more important for you to add value to yourself when you have a long-time perspective, when you think about the future, when you buy the future today. So practice back from the future thinking. Think about your life 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50 years from now. The Japanese even think about their lives 400 years from now. The average Japanese company has a 200-year business plan, 400-year business plan. Of course, the Japanese business owner is not going to be around for another 400 years or 200 years or even 100 years. But he thinks about his company 100 years from now, 200 years from now, and 400 years from now. So think about your company for your grandchildren. Think about your company for your great-grandchildren. What would you like to leave for them? Where do you see your company 400 years from now? If you have a long-time thinking perspective, you will have a broader mentality and you'll be able to think more clearly and come up with more innovative things for your business. And that will help you to develop yourself in line with your long-term perspective of your business. One quality that was most predictive of success in life, like I mentioned earlier, is that long-time perspective. Lifelong success, not success just for today, but success throughout your life, throughout the time that you're going to be in existence in this earth. How long are you going to be here? 50 years, 80 years, 100 years? You want to be successful throughout that time. You don't just want to be successful today and tomorrow or throughout this year or make a quick buck and buy all the things you want and then you're okay, but you want to be successful for life. So making decisions that will affect your life and the life of your grandchildren is very essential to your long-term perspective and to your long-time success. That is to being successful for the rest of your life. Make every decision today based on what you want 20 years from now and practice to make sacrifices. That includes making sacrifices to develop yourself. You have to understand that your time is your life. If you spend like 10 years of your life doing a particular type of business, understand that you spent, assuming you're going to live like 100 years, understand that you spent about 10% of your life doing that particular business. So value your time and understand that when you value your time, you value your life. When you have this understanding, it helps you to invest in yourself, knowing that yourself is the most important thing that you have in your business. Your time is the most important thing in your business. Your time is more important than the money in your business. Your time is more important than the equipment that you bought for your business. When you understand that, you will now know exactly how to invest your time. And one of the most important things you can do with your time is to develop yourself. That is to add value to yourself. I'm just laying the foundation for personal development. Over the next few weeks, we're going to talk about various aspects of that. But today, I'm going to talk to you about the foundational truths about personal development. So whenever you're doing something, ask yourself, is this a good use of my time right now? Remember that your time is your life. Is this a good use of my life right now? Could somebody else be doing this for a lot cheaper? For example, maybe you could have been using that time to look for new customers. That would be worth like maybe 10,000 naira per hour. But you're using that time to push people around and do certain things that you can pay somebody 1,000 naira per hour to do. So is that the best use of your time right now? Is this something you can pay somebody else to do? Or can you use this time in a more valuable way, such as maybe read a book or take a course or learn something online that can help you to improve your business? So always remember that your time is your life and that you need to value it in order to add value to yourself and add value to your customers and thereby add value to your business. So next time we're going to talk about personal development strategy and how you can go about developing yourself so that you can add more value to yourself and your business. Right now, I'm going to talk to Mr. Ejikeme Okeke about his snail farming business and how he has been managing the snail farming business and has made money from it and has become so successful in this area. Perhaps you're interested in snail farming, or you are interested in quail farming, or you're interested in any aspect of, or maybe you're just looking for a business to do. You might not be exactly interested in snail farming, but you'd like to find something that is not so difficult or something that is not so vast in terms of investment of space and time and revenue and all that. So it would be worthwhile for you to listen to this and to perhaps send in your questions via SMS as before, or send us an email so that we can answer your questions during the live session, which will be next week. And next week, I'll be having Mr. Charles Laha on the show. He's the person that I spoke about before, I think like a couple of weeks back, saying that he'll be sharing this platform with me from time to time so that we can have additional insights and inputs concerning doing business in Port Harcourt and beyond. Okay, Mr. Ejikeme Okeke is here and is going to talk to us about snail farming. Welcome, Mr. Ejikeme.
Thank you.
Can you please tell us how you started in the snail farming business?
Well, I started the snail farming here in Port Harcourt in a small way, which what I know about farming is this, that when you want to start, you can start in a small way and it goes to mega. I started here in Port Harcourt in a small way.
What do you define as a small way?
Low capital, 50,000 naira investment.
What exactly did you do with 50,000 naira?
Okay, the first time I just got my box for the snail where they will stay. I got it with 30,000 naira preparation of the box.
What kind of box? Was it wooden?
A wooden box with a net inside in order to prevent rodents, like rats, like ants and other rodents not to enter inside the box, because snail, since we want to rear it within our environment, we need it to be safe so that we won't have mortality. So I prepared the box with 30,000 naira, and then the stock, that the first brood stock, the one that will lay eggs and then keep it to the hatchery so that it will now hatch for me to have multiply them in a large quantity. So
sorry, did you hatch them yourself?
Yes, that's a way. Now you are rearing it. So in every day they do their exercise in the night. They do their feeding. They don't do anything in the daytime. They do their feeding in the night. They do their laying of egg in the night. In the daytime, they are just quiet. They're sleeping. Yeah. So and that night.
Sorry, how do you know when they're sleeping?
They're sleeping when they are no longer moving. Snail doesn't move in the daytime.
But they move really slowly. So how would you know when they're?
No, when you see them, they shoot up their antenna. They move.
Oh, I see.
But in the night, they do that exercise in the night. They feed in the night.
Okay.
But in the daytime, they are just quiet.
Okay.
They are not friendly to the sun. Oh. When sun is shining, see them, snail doesn't move in the daytime. If you see snail in the daytime moving, that snail is under attack, or that snail has something that has made it to move.
Okay.
So in the daytime, they are quiet. They are just resting, waiting for the dew of the day. When the dew comes down, you see them moving at the cool of the evening, and then they will go in, they will search for food.
Okay, that means they don't like heat.
They never like heat at all.
Okay.
So I started with this, and then with few snail, about 16 set. We call it a set.
Where did you get the set?
I got it from the company, and then from there I pick it as, and then it's 4 sets, 4 each, making it 16, 4 by 4. That is 16 sets. And then I started with it, and then today it has multiplied in a large quantity.
Do you have any idea how many you have by now?
I didn't take the stock before coming. There are many.
Like how many? How many do you think?
There are many. They're up to 200 or 300 now.
Okay.
But I have little ones that are still on the hatchery. I want them to hatch before I will number them.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now when you have the large snails,
yes,
and some of them are going to be laying eggs,
yes,
and some of them you're going to sell,
yes.
Do all the snails lay eggs, or do you have male, female? How does it work?
The snail is homophabial in the sense that it has male and female organ, each of them.
You're joking?
Yes, snail has male and female organ, but in terms of laying of egg, for them to have fertilized egg, one cannot be able to, but two of them has to come closer. Two snail has to come together because the position of their sex organ is different. Okay. So when they come together, you see this activity. If you are interested, you see this activity in the night. Okay. If you're interested, then you watch the snail in the night. You see two snails stay for 2 hours, 3 hours. They're not moving. Okay. What they're mating in that hour. When it comes to rearing of snails and other, and you need to watch what you are doing, and then you'll be able to know how they are behaving. Okay. You know what they're doing.
Okay.
You're not doing it for another thing, just to know.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, you're welcome. But, this thing is like that. Every night.
You actually have to sit down and watch their mating process and study how they...
Yeah, how they eat, whether they're really eating the food you kept for them, because now you are keeping them in a cage.
You have to wake up at night to watch that.
Yeah, yes, I do that.
Okay.
I do that.
Good. That's interesting. Now, when you have 200, what I wanted to ask earlier, how do you know which ones to take out and sell, which ones to keep behind to get more eggs and so on? How often do you sell them?
Okay, there are times in a month, in 2 months, because snail mature for 4 months.
Okay.
It stays for 4 months from maturity. Then from 4 months, you begin to either sell or return it to be a blue stock, whereby you are now going to keep it to lay egg, so that...
Blue stock is the one that lays egg.
Yes,
okay.
Those ones are the ones you kept, so that they will lay egg for you to have more eggs to hatch and then have more snails.
Okay, fantastic. So when you start selling, like how much money can you make from, let's say, a batch of 200 snails? How much do you sell the snails, and who do you supply to? Do you have like specific people that you sell it to?
Okay, snail is easier to sell these days, but there is a way we partner and then we mop up the large number of snails. And then we have a bucket of snails sells for 32,000.
Bucket consists how many?
It's about it's 32,000.
32 pieces is 32,000?
Yes, they're about.
Are they really large or?
They are big ones.
Okay.
They are big ones. The bucket of is 32,000. The company I got it from, they'll come and take it from you.
Oh, I see. They come and okay.
Yes, they give you that stock, and then when
they take it from you.
They take it from you.
Wow, that's
it makes
good.
it easy.
Makes it very easy.
Yes.
Okay.
They will give you the stock for you to rear. As soon as you have reared it to maturity, they will come and take it from you, making it easier.
So the only thing you have to do is just get the
blue stock
box.
Yes,
Sorry,
the box.
And then you get the stock from the company.
Yes.
And then later you sell back to the company.
Yes.
And you make your profit.
You make your profit.
What about feeding? How do you feed them?
The feeding is very simple. The snail doesn't need much of artificial food. It's just, let me mention it. It's very okay. You can get your watermelon back.
Okay.
That's what they take. Wow. And then if you see maybe cucumber leaves and plantain leaves and other, just little things like that, you feed them. And
you don't need to buy food?
No, you don't need to buy.
What about medicine?
They don't need much medicine. They don't need medicine.
Wow.
They're in the bush. The reason why we are trying to bring these things closer to us because of urbanization. Oh. We are now clearing our bush.
Yes.
We don't have too much bush now. Yes. I remember the first time I came to River State, Port Harcourt, I see goats moving about the streets. But you won't see goats now. I remember those days, it was on air. Those that own goat at Rumokoro, at Rumibo, please take your goat in the daytime. It's causing accidents. But you can't see them now.
Not anymore.
Yeah, because urbanization, people are really coming closer. Yes. So we need to bring these things. And then you know that there is push burning here and there. Okay. So these things are no longer easy to get. Yes, it affects the life of the snail. Okay. So we're bringing it in so that we can be able to have these things with us. Snail, most particularly, we should have it within us. And then when we're having it around, we'll be able to make use of them.
So this box that you have for the snail farming, that you started with, how big is it? Is it like 6x4, 6x6? What was it like? How big is it?
Okay, the box
16
is
snails.
6x12.
Whoa, that's big.
6 feet, and the length is by 12.
No, that's the one you have currently, right?
Yes.
That contains 200 snails.
Yes.
But when you started with those 16 snails,
I made that provision because it's expanding. I made it because
That
I know.
big at
Yes.
the beginning?
Yes, I know
I
that
see.
I will expand.
And that cost you less than 50,000 back then?
Yeah, well, I started with 30,000 naira constructing the box.
When was that?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yes.
That's not bad. Wow, and you can fit 200 snails in there.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So what resources did you need? You said that you needed 30,000 to start with, and then you didn't have to pay for the snails. They gave you the snails, right?
You pay. It's 20,000 and that is 50,000.
Okay, that's the 50,000.
Yes, that's
Excellent.
the 50,000. I started the first investment. They
Okay.
constructed the box. They gave me the sand because one thing there is this biosecurity. In farming, there is biosecurity. That's what people don't know. When you want to go into farming, you must check your biosecurity. Security in this sense that you will be able to know do's and don'ts. If you are rearing a bird, you must know the biosecurity that is involved. In the snail farm, you must know the biosecurity that is involved. You need to construct your pen very well so that it will prevent rodents not to enter.
Yes.
It will prevent people that you don't want to come will not come. With your biosecurity, you'll be able to have your snail, or maybe we're talking about farming or bird, you will have it in a proper way and they will not die and you will have it multiplying.
Okay, fantastic. So did you face any particular challenges when you started the business, or along the way, or presently? Do you have any challenges?
Initially, the starting point was when I didn't know about this biosecurity. I did it on my own, putting them on the tire. But ant invested them and then killed them. There was much mortality. I did it on my own. But when I made research and then I asked, where can I get it? Then I met this company that helped me to set up this stage. And then since I got that information and then key to that biosecurity, my snails are moving.
Did you have any formal training?
That is the company. They trained me.
The company trained you?
Yes,
and
they
gave
trained
you,
me.
Okay, and
Yes.
then you bought the snails from them?
Yes, they trained me and then gave me this box and also gave me the sand. You need to treat your sand and then put what the snails are eating inside that sand. In case you were not able to get the watermelon back, they will go down and begin to feed on the thing on the sand.
What kind of things are in the sand?
Want me to reveal the secret now? You will come for lecture.
Oh, okay, no problem.
You're
But there are
welcome.
things in the sand that the snails can eat.
Yes,
And
many
the company
things.
put
They will
them
they will put it in for the snail to go down and eat.
Okay, fantastic. So what benefits are there to your customers? What does snail have? Do they have anything, any particular nutrition or anything?
Today, research has proved that snail has a kind of tendency of giving remedy to high BP.
Are you serious?
Yes, that's
High
research.
BP?
Yes, high BP patients. There's a way research has gone to that level. That snail, there's a way they extract the water in the site. I am not a doctor, but the doctors know what I'm saying. There's a way the research has gone in, and then they know that taking of snail can give remedy to high blood pressure.
Okay, that's a very good news for people that might have hypertension problems or high blood pressure. Is there any other health benefit that you're aware of?
When you are taking snail, there are a lot of them. There are a lot of things that you are going to get.
Yes, I also heard it has high protein.
Yeah, high
It has
protein.
really high protein levels.
Yes.
Are there any dangers in taking snail?
No danger.
What about people that maybe their ethnic or cultural orientation does not allow them to take snails? What would you say?
That's their religion beliefs. It's best known to them, but for me, I take snail.
And there are a lot of people in River State that take snails.
Perfect.
A lot of people.
It's a hot cake.
It's a hot cake.
Yes.
That's
Snail
excellent. That's
here
very
moves.
good news.
Those that are doing snail business, if you go to them and ask them, they will tell you that this thing is moving. But sometimes people are looking at the oil company, but there is things for us to do. Little things that we can do, and then we make this money.
Exactly.
We make this money. We start breaking our head looking for big company to employ us. You
It's
can
much
employ
easier.
yourself. You can employ yourself. That's how I employed myself.
And this business you're talking about doesn't seem like something that is really tasking. It doesn't look like so much work, and because I don't think is any major work. You have to clean out the snail farm pen or box. What do you have to do?
The only work you need to do there is in the evening hour, you just put their food for them. They will feed on it throughout the night. The next day, you leave it. If they didn't finish, you leave it till the 2 days. After 2 days, please try and remove it. So that they
remove the sand or the
remove the watermelon so that it will not rupture, it will not get spoiled, it will not form muco inside the pen. Okay. Try to remove it after 2. That's the mistake. Every business has biosecurity do's and don'ts. After 2 days, try to remove it and then make this snail pen, that box, make it clean. They will lay their egg in the night and then you will remove it. You will come and remove it. In that box, there's layer.
Do you remove the eggs every night?
Yes, every morning. Every morning.
Every morning.
At the cool of the morning, you come and then remove it and then put it where you have your hatchery. If you put it in the hatchery, they will stay for a few days, 18 or 19 days, and then you will see the small snail coming out.
Wow.
Yes, you just put it inside, bury it in the hatchery. After 18 days, you will see small snail coming out.
Out of where you buried them?
Yes, out of where you buried them.
Okay, fantastic.
And then that one, you now have a special food for them. The food for them is just this watermelon, the one we take, that red one we take, that sweet one.
The flesh part.
Yes, it's good for them. That early time, they are good to go. They take it enough.
Okay, what makes your snail business unique or different from any other person's snail business?
What made it unique is this. I took time to learn it. Taking time to learn. When you learn a skill, it will be easy for you to strive and succeed. Learning a skill, take time to study, take time to ask questions. I ask questions. I asked my mentor, please show me this. I want to know. And they showed me, and then I study with them, and I flow with them, and then today I count it gamefully.
So you had access to the people that taught you, and you were able to call them if you had any challenge or any questions?
At any point in time, they are ready to give their input supply. That is their word of knowledge, their word of advice, their word of encouragement to me. Each time I call them, they respond. In fact, one thing I want to say is this. I am here in Port Harcourt. I am not coming from Abuja. I am not coming from Lagos. I am here in Port Harcourt. That made it easy that whenever we have anything, we call our team. Okay. We are together, we link together. But those that are coming from Abuja to conduct seminar or do sort of business, and when they finish, they just go. By the time you have any challenge and you call them, they are not wrong. They are not there to.
They're not able to help you.
Yes, but here I am here in Port Harcourt. Any issue, once I call, we gather together and solve that challenge.
And having that support system is so important, because if you don't have that support system, then you have to learn by error, which, as we all know, is very, very expensive.
Yes.
The final question I have for you, Mr. Ejikeme, is what advice do you have for startups in this business? Do you have any book you recommend, a course, or any kind of maybe apprenticeship or program or mentorship? What would you recommend for somebody that wants to start up in this business?
Somebody that wants to start up this business, you need to get in touch with the experts, those that have done that business and they're excelling. Ask them questions. Get in touch with them. And also, we have outlines, we have books that we read, and we can recommend to you. And then we have some seminars we can put you through, and then we mentor you, make sure you stand. It's not that we will tell you today and tomorrow you will not see us. We are here, and we will tell you, we'll coach you, we'll put you through in that snail farming stuff, and then you strive with it, and you feed your family. One thing that is sure is this: snail doesn't make noise. It doesn't make noise. And then when you set up that farm, in the morning you watch it and you go to your business, and then in the night they do their feeding, and then come down in the cool of the morning, they are resting. You just check your pen and then off you go your business. So you are making money, you are making extra income for your family. Just at your backyard, you are having something that when you have any issue in your family, you just go there and pick the money.
Excellent. This is a very nice edition of Doing Business with Stephanie Pius on 95.1 FM. We're talking to Mr. Ejikeme Okeke, who last week he spoke to us about quail farming, and tonight he has spoken to us about snail farming. You can even see the relationship, quail, snail, quail, snail. But the bigger relationship that I want us to look out for is the fact that both of them are businesses that you can start with very little or no, okay, you can't say no capital. You have to have capital, 50,000.
Yes.
But you need capital. You have to buy your stock. You have to set up your place. So he's spoken to us about quail farming, and he has spoken to us about snail farming. And we've found everything he said very, very interesting. And I'm very sure there are people out there, or you are out there, you're interested in this business, just like you were in the quail farming, and you'd like to get more information. You can get in contact with Doing Business at Today 95.1 FM. You can call on 070 111 78304. That's 070 111 78304. Or you can also check our Facebook page, Stephanie Pius Club. And if you're interested in joining the GBC Club, take advantage of all the amazing resources that we have available for you there. Remember that I have some things up there that you can go and look at, and you can go to the website and download the PDFs that I put up there and get the contact information for some of the old programs that we did before. You can also send your inquiries and any information that you want to send to us. You can send it by email to africagbc@gmail.com. That's africagbc@gmail.com. Come be a part of this and let us take your business global. Invite your friends, your business associates, and family members to be a part of the GBC Club. You can get more information about that on the Facebook page as well. And if you have any interest featuring your business, you would like to come and talk to us about your business, either in terms of advertising and promoting your business, or you'd like to come on air and talk to us about one of those things that we've been mentioning in the series of businesses that you can do with little or no capital, please feel free to get in contact with us so that we can put you on air. Mr. Ejikeme Okeke was the first person to respond to my request of having any person in the audience who would like to come to the studio and share their experiences with us. And I'm very grateful to him for that. So if you have any experiences you would like to share on air, kindly get in touch with us and let us work with you towards making you an inspiration for everybody in Port Harcourt. Any questions you would like me to answer, you can also send by email, or you'd like me to take a look at your business, or you have comments to share, get in touch and we'll get back to you or answer your questions during the next Doing Business on Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. So that's it for today on Doing Business with Stephanie Pius on Today 95.1 FM. Kindly join me on Facebook on my page. If you'd like to stay updated on the Today FM digital media program, which comes up every Wednesday by 12:30 p.m., you can like the DigiClub Africa page on Facebook as well. I look forward to us meeting again this time next week on Doing Business with Stephanie Pius on Today 95.1 FM.
Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Opinion poll with Kalada.
Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Opinion poll with Kalada.
Good evening to you. 2 minutes gone past the hour of 9. You are currently tuned to the dial Today 95.1 FM, reaching you live from the Garden City here in River State. Not so garden anymore, right? Not so garden anymore. But hey, that is what we call the garden city. How are you doing? It is the Easter season. I know some of you have enjoyed your holiday right from Friday up until today. It's been a whole long weekend for some of you. Hey, good evening to you. Lots of discussions, a lot of things to talk about. I'm currently still thinking, how do I, streamline all of these things into one? But you know how it is. It's become my style. I would talk about one or two topics. Just talk about it and how I feel about it, and what I believe should be done, and then I will bring up a particular topic for you to talk about. I am Kalada, in case you're listening for the first time. I'm Kalada, and the name of the show is Opinion Poll. Yeah, just like the name, you get a call in, give your opinion, and help save Nigeria, help save your community, help save your state, help bring about the required growth, the required development. Because when you keep quiet, the doctor will not know where the sickness is coming from. You have to tell the doctor where, the pain is, where the abnormality is, and then the doctor will prescribe drugs, or will prescribe drugs for you, or prescribe a solution for you. The government will not know until we tell them. Remember, the power is held by the people, and we need to direct the government on what way to go. And talking about direction, did you see what happened in Ukraine? I mean, I like the way the Punch newspaper puts it. Says, from comedian to commander-in-chief, challenges for new Ukraine leader. Now, the first part is what gets me. It gets me every time I look at it. From comedian to commander-in-chief. Do you think, just maybe, let's indulge for a bit. Do you think, the international bodies, the international community will take Ukraine serious? I mean, this guy is a comedian. And talking about it makes me laugh as well. He's a comedian. Do you think, when it comes out to give a threat to some other country, maybe, they have been having issues with Russia due to the annexation of Crimea, which is a country, which is a part of Ukraine that Russia has somehow colonized. And so imagine this guy comes now and threatens Russia and says, makes all the threats and all the claims and all of it. And do you think Russia will take him serious? Really? But that's by the way. But then there's something instructive for not just Nigeria, but for everyone, every country in the world. The people have the power. The people have the final say. The people, they have the final say. That is one interesting major lesson for people of Nigeria, people in Africa, people all over the world to learn. It's not government. The people make the government. The people vote in the government. But that's by the way. Let's move into some other story that caught my attention, and that has to do with now let's give applause to the police. Come on, clap for the police. I know I've been bashing the police too much recently, but let's give them some applaud. Applaud them, please. Now, why am I applauding the police? Now, according to a report on our news bulletin, our in-house news bulletin, it says that the River State Police Command has announced the arrest of 4 suspected cultists in Rumolumeni community in Obiakpo local government area of the state. I want to say thank you to the police for doing very wonderfully, for doing great and arresting, because these boys have been on a rampage, and the police for once have lived up to that statement that we are on top of the situation. I want to say applauds to you. I want to say applauds to the Commissioner of Police in River State, Usman Bello, for such a wonderful job. But I do hope that this is not some random picking, like we've seen in time past. I really do hope that this is not some random picking. I see the ages of these boys and I'm wondering, I hope really 20 years, the other one is 22 years, the other one is 20 years. I really do hope these are actually the culprits, the perpetrators of crime or banditry in that area. But thank you once again for doing your job. Thank you once again for living to our expectations, or living up to our expectations. Thank you. But then again, I would like to talk to the acting Inspector General of Police. Your boys at it again. I'm looking at the Premium Times and I'm seeing that 1 killed, many injured, as police officers open fire at Ogun bus stop. I mean, we need to stop this. We need to stop having people dying out of stray bullets. We need to look for, if it means we going out there and retraining and retraining our men, it will be fine. Really, we cannot. For the past 1 month, I mean, Kolade Johnson was 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago. The next week we had another girl. It's come on now. Anyways, like I said, I'm not going to be bashing the police. I'm going to give them respite for now. I'm on break when it comes to talking about the police. So what else? Now let's go straight to our discuss for tonight. We will be analyzing the statement of a particular minister, so to say. We will be a particular minister, and we will be talking once again for the umpteenth time about corruption. Yeah, we will be talking about corruption. Corruption in Nigeria. Now, many of you in time past had said corruption is one-sided, is lopsided. Some of you have said, the corruption war is very, very helpful to the Nigerian economy, that since Buhari came into power, that he has made sure that everybody who looted funds, almost everybody who looted funds, for some of you have said, thank Buhari. But then again, we want to beam our light, our focus on the fight against corruption. Now, it is one of the cardinal points of this administration, and from the inception, from the very beginning in 2014, in 2015, this administration promised that every person who looted the Nigerian economy will have to face the tune that the law is playing. That being said, we have seen the fight. Some of you, like I said, you have your resentment. Some of you, you're applauding and all of that. But then again, there is the particular argument that how many people have actually been convicted by, all the anti-graft agencies since the fight against corruption started in 2015. Very important question, very pertinent question. How many people have been convicted since we started the fight against corruption in 2015? Now, whether you like it or not, what we have had ever since the inception of this fight against corruption has been, media trials, trials on the pages of newspapers, trials on radio, trials on we've barely seen real convictions, And when we even look at the convictions, we, like for example, the Onogan's case, we deem, we see it as, I say it as, like the punishment should have been more. There should have been some very stringent, strict, heavy punitive measures. I don't know about you, but the point is, there has been little or no convictions. And that's the question that Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information, has come out to answer today. He was given an interview on live television earlier in the day, and he spoke about corruption in length. And, the first thing he said, that it was wrong for Nigerians, or the first thing that caught my attention was that he said it was wrong for Nigerians to judge the fight against corruption based on the number of convictions that the administration has done. Let me read it for you. Let's go, you and I, and if you have your phone or probably have the Premium Times with you, I want you to go to The caption, corruption, don't judge us by number of convictions, federal government. Now, the federal government says it will be unfair for Nigerians to measure its achievements in the fight against corruption by the number of convictions it has secured. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, stated this on Monday when he featured on a live TVC news program this morning, monitored by the News Agency of Nigeria in Abuja. Mr. Mohammed said the administration has succeeded in laying an enduring foundation for the fight against corruption through sustainable policies, including the Treasury Single Account TSA. I need to underline that part now. We will get back to that because there's a very big debate on that one, but we will get back to that one. And then he said, and whistleblower policy. He said, with the solid foundation, the fight against corruption will remain the bedrock of the administration in the next 4 years. Under this administration, we insisted and have succeeded in ensuring that all payments and revenues are paid into the TSA. Interesting. Now, he said before we came in, the federal government had over 2,000 different accounts in various banks, which resulted in paying several billions on naira in charges. The government then also never had an idea of how much it had as revenue. Today, over 9.3 trillion naira has gone into the TSA, and that is why it is possible for us to invest, especially in the area of infrastructure and social investment programs, he said. The minister said, with the TSA savings, the government spent 2.7 trillion naira on development of infrastructure in 2017 and 2018, and also introduced accountability in spending of government resources. He said the whistleblower policy has helped in blocking corruption and recovery of looted funds. He went on to say Mr. Mohammed disclosed that the government has so far recovered several billions of naira and about $53 million through the policy alone. Oh my, underline that part as well. He said the administration's fight against corruption has been recognized abroad with the AU recognition of President Mahmoud Buhari as the champion of anti-corruption. The minister said that the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, also recognized the efforts of the administration in fighting corruption. When we say the fight against corruption is successful, it is because we have laid the foundation that would make it difficult for people to engage in the evil acts. Interesting. For us to succeed, for us, success of the fight against corruption is the fact that we have driven corruption under the table and make it unattractive as it was before. Those who are corrupt are doing so with the fear of the law. It will be progressive. I don't understand what it is. Okay, I think there's a typographical error there. He said it will be progressive, become more and more difficult in Nigeria for corruption to be attractive. Then he went on to say, on the allegation that the government's anti-corruption fight was against perceived enemies and opposition, the minister said it was a misconception. We had 16 years of unbroken rule by the PDP, so the likely people who will be accused of misuse of resources should be the people who were in charge. Underline that one as well. We also have some former governors who decamped to APC who have also been convicted, he said. Underline that as well. And he said the minister reiterated that the anti-corruption fight would be frontal in the next 4 years of the administration of President Buhari. Interesting. Oh my, oh my. Now, Treasury single account. I want you to go back to let's do time travel now. Go back in time to November of 2015, when there was a little bit of some brouhaha between the presidency and the Senate, where the Senate was accusing the presidency of using the TSA to for some shady deals or from some illegal. I don't even know what Dino Malaya was saying at the time. But if you go to November 17, 2015, you would find out that the same Alhaji Lai Mohammed came out and said the TSA, the Treasury single account, was a product of the Goodluck Jonathan administration. If you travel to August 6, 2016, you will also find where there are captions like implementing Goodluck Jonathan's TSA saves Nigeria from collapse. I'm not here to praise the previous administration. I'm just here to give you background information of how the TSA started. It was initiated by the Goodluck Jonathan administration and fully implemented by by the current administration. Now, going by that, going back that background, what will you make of Lai Mohammed's claims that the two policies, according to Lai Mohammed, which is of course the Treasury single account and the whistleblower policy, with those two policies that they have been able to cripple corruption in Nigeria. What do you make of that? Because number one, like I said, it was not initiated by this administration. The administration met it and used it, and it works for them. So, why am I saying that? Would you put the TSA as part of the government? Okay, now let's see. Would you agree with the fact that even though we have not had convictions, or we've not had much convictions, that the fight against corruption has been reduced to a very low, I mean, the how do I put this now? The lowest level of corruption. That is where we are finding ourselves in now. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with the fact that corruption is fast becoming a thing of the past in Nigeria? And then when you look at the issue of whistleblowing, where according to Lai Mohammed, about $53 million have been recovered. Now, this is what he said. Mr. Mohammed disclosed that the government has so far recovered several billions of naira and about $53 million through the policy alone. So let's forget the billions of naira. Let's just focus on the dollars. $53 million alone has been recovered by the whistleblowing policy. Then how come that we are still going out there to borrow money? I mean, it is worth asking that question, because when I look at my in-house news bulletin again, where the Minister of Finance was talking about our debt profile, and she said something about which will shock you. Which will shock you. She said that where is it again? Or where is it again? Oh my, I can't find it. Where is it? Aha. She said that Nigeria still had room to borrow an additional 7.89 trillion before reaching a threshold of about 32 trillion. Then we can then say that we have reached a debt crisis. My point is that they still have the desire to go borrow some more money. But if the fight against corruption, like Lai Mohammed is saying, is recovering so much money, then why do we need to go out there and borrow money? Basically, what I'm trying to say is I want to get your opinion on what Lai Mohammed has said. And I do really hope that you've listened to me carefully, especially when I was reading out, Lai Mohammed's statement. So I don't want you coming up and mixing things up, or you coming up and saying things out of sentiment and out of emotions and out of because you're not from the APC and your party is not in government. No, I don't want any of that. Let's talk like Nigerians. Let's talk, because this is government. It's not a political party. It's government. So let's talk like Nigerians who have a government and who this government have done policies. And are you okay? Do you think these policies have yielded good fruits, yielded good results? Do you think these policies have made the society better, or do you think it's just all media fanfare? Do you think it's just some things the government has to say to make the people feel happy, or make the people feel like something is being done? I really would love to know. Because you're talking about this TSA, the whistle blowing, talking about the fact that the corruption is going to be so difficult, or is being difficult, and then when it comes to the one-sided graft war. You know, the guy said, I mean, the Minister of Information said that why it seems like that is because the PDP were the ones in power. But then when asked, what about the people who decamped to the APC, this was the statement he made. He said, we have some former governors who decamped to the APC who have also been convicted. And if my knowledge serves me right, I think there are only 2 of those governors. There are so many other governors out there. But let's take your opinion on the matter, on the issue. 0817 000 0951 and 0810 9510 951. You can send me a text message or a WhatsApp message to the number 0701 933 9962. Canada, what do you think about the fight against corruption? I really do not know what I think, but I really would love to know what you think about it. 95.1.
My brother.
Yeah, good evening to you. Hello.
It's Ambassador London man coming from.
Oh, Ambassador London man, welcome.
Yes, my brother. The question whether the CSA is using a positive, right?
No, that's not what it is. I'm looking at the fight against corruption. Do you think corruption in Nigeria has been reduced to the barest minimum, has been reduced to the lowest level in Nigeria? Looking at it, do you think, because he's saying that these policies have made it so difficult for people to loot funds, for people to steal money, public funds and all of that?
My brother, as a matter of fact, I would say that we are at the peak of corruption now. Corruption is at its peak. Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. I can tell you that nothing like the fight against corruption in this country as it stands now. Yes. Good luck. The TSA, the Treasury Civil Account, but
yeah.
Yes, was a brainchild of Goodluck Jonathan. Yes, brainchild of Goodluck Jonathan, which was introduced in 2015, before this administration took effect. Now, they are claiming to have been utilizing this policy by fighting corruption to the barest minimum. And the rationale behind this policy is to fight corruption. If Goodluck Jonathan won before now, this government who came on board, or this government which came on board rather, they are always on air, claiming to have been fighting.
But then again, if you think, you see, this is where I think you're being partisan. If you think that Goodluck Jonathan's second tenure would have used the TSA to fight corruption, then why do you think that the present administration is not using it to fight corruption?
My brother, because of the way we are seeing things, the way we are seeing them raising alarm every time they have recovered this, they have recovered that, they have recovered such figure. They mention figures and we don't know, we can't see the figure and nothing, and they are still borrowing money. Actually, they have been utilizing this policy. They have been fighting corruption to the barest minimum, as they claim. My brother, they shouldn't be talking about going to borrow from anywhere, because it's all about making us to be desperate. I mean, our economy is not growing. As a matter of fact, I don't know. The government has no bearing.
All right. Thank you very much. London man. We have to go to the callers now. You're actually taking the conversation out of hand. You can actually say the government has no bearing. You're talking about the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But then looking at it, what do you make of it? The fight against corruption. Do you think, like Lai Mohammed has claimed, that the fight has gotten to the point where corruption in Nigeria has become so difficult? Let's get your view on it. 95.1.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Chief Bernard from Rumusi.
Chief Bernard from Rumusi, welcome.
Yeah, the corruption is on increase, not to the.
Why would you say so?
Yes, why I'm saying so is that before this government to come into power, the Nigerian debt will have been paid by Obasanjo. This government came in, and now we have borrowed up.
I'm sorry. Even the previous government had borrowed money, so you can't say it's even the previous government were owing money as well.
Yes, they borrow. By that time there was a corruption. They borrow. But now there's no corruption, and Nigeria has borrowed up to 27 trillion. Then now they have recovered the money from here and there, and that money has not been seen anywhere, and they have been borrowing money. Then what shows that, okay, corruption that we are talking about that they have been fighting to the barest minimum. What happened to my case? What happened to Babata Lawa? What happened to Ayo Dele and his wife? All these people are here in Nigeria until they run away and people start looking at them. What has happened to them? If they are fighting corruption, why is it that all the whole EDP governors that run to APC, they are there up to now, they are not corrupt?
But then they can. But the truth is, they can only be corrupt when you prove that they are corrupt. In a competent court.
Okay, I think before Gosu Lapadi, when he was in PDP, they were calling him a corrupt man, that he was so corrupt. When he ran to APC, no longer corrupt. Is that the corruption we are fighting?
All right.
Okay. Now, TSA is there and nobody steals money. Why we are lacking of money in Nigeria?
I see.
Why?
I see. All right, thank you very much for calling in, Chief Bernard. Chief Bernard is giving his opinion and say, why? If there is no corruption, then why are we finding it difficult rather to have money in the national coffer? 95.1.
Yeah, good evening.
Hey, good evening to you. What's your name and where you calling from?
Okay, it's calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Chinedu, welcome.
Yes, my brother. As a matter of fact, this government is the most corrupt government, apart from that of
Why would you say that? Give me a good reason why. Because you can't just make such blank statements. Blanket statements, rather.
Yes, they are claiming to be. Good government or innocent government or sense. I don't know the adjective to you. But we are not seeing anything on ground. Like the last speaker said, all these people, they have been mentioning that they are corrupt and what have you. Whenever you see any of them from PDP compared to APC, the person is no longer.
But then again, they have said do not judge us by the fact that we have not been able to convict so many people. They said they have put things in place, measures in place, policies in place that have made it difficult for people to steal money.
The measures they have put in place, I don't know. The measure is not working in any way because they claim to have been fighting corruption, and you see them telling us the amount they have recovered, and they are still borrowing money.
All right. Thank you very much for calling in.
Money they have realized they have not even injected it in the economy, our economy, for economy to grow. That is what will show us or prove to us that this government is really fighting corruption and they are really recovering money and they are using it for the development of the economy of the people.
All right. Thank you very much for calling in then. Thank you very much for that contribution. It seems like, I don't know, Nigerians feel like, I don't think Nigerians are happy with what Lai Mohammed has said. But then again, let's look at these things critically. Looking at it critically. Now, they're trying to tell you, for example, that it's not what it's how do I put it now? That sometimes it's larger than what meets the eye. That they have done a lot of groundwork, they have done a lot of stuff, and then 5-1.
Hello, good evening, Canada.
Hey, good evening to you.
This is Kibeke. I'm coming from home.
Welcome then.
Sometimes it's very important to say the truth sometimes. Irrespective of party affiliations or whatever.
All right.
It is very clear that this government is doing what they can to curtail corruption.
All right. So now let's pause there. They are doing they are doing what they can. No, I want to ask you a question. They are doing what they can, but is what they can enough or good enough to have brought corruption down to the barest minimum? That's the question.
Listen now.
All right.
You talk about the PSA. You talk about the whistleblower policy.
Yeah.
The two of them. Somebody is now arguing that the PSA was introduced by Goodluck Jonathan.
Yeah, I was the one who stayed.
We cannot even give credit to whoever started it or brought in the policy.
Really?
But for this government now to be able to utilize this policy to fight corruption to the level it has done, Okay, if you look at the government is giving us, introducing the whistleblower policy now, you understand?
Yeah.
It's now on us now as citizens of Nigeria now, you understand? To help the government, because in this policy, the whistleblower policy is like, if you see where something is going wrong, if you see something that is report to us, we are going to follow it up and we are going to cover you. We are going to give a kind of cover.
Yeah.
So if we are talking about corruption, it is me that now that I refuse to support this government in this fight.
I see.
It's on our shoulder now.
So okay, now so you are saying now I'm trying to understand you very well. You're saying that yes, this government is doing all they can, but the reason why corruption has not gotten to the barest minimal is because the people have refused to be a part of the corruption fight. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. Let me tell you now. These people now, some people. Let me say some people.
All right,
yes,
some people.
Yes, some people. They will want a judiciary. I'm not digressing now. They want a judiciary whose head will be kind of supporting corruption, because they will not be fast in their court proceedings. They will not convict anybody. You want that same judiciary to remain, and you are blaming the executives now that they are not imprisoning anybody. They have not convicted anybody. How will they convict anybody?
I see. All right. Now the question is, with all of this, and mind you, you talked about the TSA and said we should not give a reference to who initiated it. Even this government who's using the TSA gave reference to the government who initiated it, and that's why I brought it up. But then again, if you look at it, would you now be able to say, I'm asking you once again, that corruption has become so difficult, in the Nigerian, especially in the Nigerian government settings, that people can no longer steal money anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'm telling you. That is very, very clear. This is very clear. Listen, we are, and somebody like me now, and you understand?
Yeah.
Sorry for somebody like me now. Let me just myself now. I will be saying they are not doing anything. But let me tell you, if you have up to 2 billion naira, 2 billion naira, you understand? They have been taken from you, you understand, from this government. At least you will sit down and say, these people, they are doing something. You understand? Because I don't have, and they have not taken from me. That's why I can see they are not doing anything. But I can tell you, those rich men that they have collected huge amounts of money from, they can testify themselves that these people, they have collected something from me. That is the fight is very, very intensive. It is ongoing, and it will continue to go on. All we need to do is let's all support this government. Not like you don't want this government to succeed, so that you come up with tomorrow and tell us that.
All right, so you want us to support. Oh, sorry, we have lost you. So I believe you're saying we should support the government. Then now, when we support the government, then we will actually, see the benefits of this administration's fight against corruption. That is his own take. That is his own opinion, his own submission, and probably maybe he has been able to make some sense. I mean, look at it. We keep instigating. Oh, the fight is one-sided, but just maybe if we can go blow the whistle on members of the APC, not just call and say that governor or ex-governor is corrupt. If you can go blow the whistle and give evidence, then maybe you will be aiding the fight against corruption. Not 5 for 1.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Yeah, my name is Mr. Chris. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right.
About corruption by this APC. You know why people are not helping this administration fight corruption?
No, tell me about it.
For example, now, if I agree to work with you, but when I later find out that you are biased, for example, sometimes in your studio there are some times you be anchoring a program. When I find out that you are biased, I will not call.
I see.
Yeah, that is the same thing that is happening where APC government. Without being told, even if not, if you ask people to say the way it is, if not this is radio station, you will know very well that people will tell you exactly what is happening. I know what is happening. This APC is not fighting any corruption. Let me see what they are doing.
But then again, it's not APC. It is the presidency. I mean, it is the president and his ministers, and and they are the ones fighting corruption.
Yes, it's true. Let me say something. You know, it's not possible for a pastor to preach against maybe if your wife in the same church are putting on trousers. I think you know when you get a quotation in the Bible where Bible condemn that man shall not put on anything that belongs to woman.
Where you going with this now?
I know. Please see what I'm saying now. The pastor will jump that place. Not that he's not seeing it, but it's affecting him. For example, now what APC is doing. Look at what is happening.
Once again, APC is not the government. The government is.
Look at what the federal government is doing.
Thank you very much.
Say it like this.
Yeah.
What federal government now is doing? They are doing eye service. Do you see, for example, on Oge's matter? You compare on Oge's matter and the Dasuki's matter and the Ezazaki matter. Is it not the same crime? What is the good thing now? What is the special thing in this Onoge's matter that makes them to rush his matter and they nail him? What is keeping Dasuki in the prison? Have you people asked that question?
And yes, and they have answered, and they have answered you.
Is it not corruption?
They've told you national security issues, and I don't believe one against issue has to do with national security.
Is it not the same? Is it not the same?
Now you're not. You see, now you're not listening to me. El Zagzaki and the other person you mentioned, what's his name again? It just slipped off my head. They are actually facing issues bordering on national security. And when it comes to, because you always keep bordering on this one, and tonight I'm just going to answer you straight up. And when it comes to Onogen's issue has to do with strictly corruption. It's strictly monies that he did not declare. Two different things. Things.
At the end now, what did they find him? Is he not guilty?
Yeah, they have.
Is it not crime?
Yeah.
Is it not crime that they, because of crime?
You're still not understanding.
Then what
see, there's a difference between issues.
Is it not crime?
There's a difference between crime that has to do with national security all over the world. The United States, everywhere. When it has to do with national security, they don't just release you like that. I'm not supporting, I'm not against it, but I'm telling you, all over the world, Russia, United States, China, everywhere, once it has to do with national security, they never just release you like that.
Yes, I know what you're saying. But what I'm saying now, based on my own argument.
All right.
Federal government, last time we treat Mr. President with my testimony is there. And up to now, they have not come and account for me. This is how much they spend. But inside the staff that I'm paying, moving my own testimony, go and see somebody. You don't want to come and give me, Mr. This federal government. They are corrupt.
All right. Thank you very much. We've had enough of what you had to say. 95.1.
Hello, Kalada.
Hey, good evening to you. Hi, you're welcome.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate Lai Mohammed for recognizing that the former President Goodluck Jonathan introduced what they are still using, which is
all right.
corruption.
All right.
Now, you know that in 2014, Premium Global Agency made it very open and clear that Nigeria has made in fighting corruption.
That Nigeria has what?
Made good in fighting corruption.
Okay.
Moving from the corruption index from 144 to 136.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Now, what is the corruption index in Nigeria? You are a journalist, tell me.
Oh my God. Nigerians.
When we begin to say we are fighting corruption, we have to look at our index. Just yesterday, before this year, before the Easter, Lai Mohammed was even telling us that he signed money that he didn't even properly look at. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it not a case of corruption? Who queried Lai Mohammed? And EFC will go after others.
But now you mentioned the corruption perceptions index, but you should also know that there are so many criteria by which they make those indices. For example, there is the corruption in terms of preservation of human rights. There's the corruption in terms of looting of public funds. There is the corruption in terms of.
You just tell us we are in the national radio. You tell us the present corruption index in Nigeria today.
I should tell you the.
Show us who corruption. we are looking at the issues of who fight corruption.
I see.
Because the corruption we are seeing now, because now was sentenced under former President, and in this present administration, probably not in. This was a person declared by the EFCC wanted.
I see.
Under former President Goodluck Jonathan. But under this present administration, Mina came in Nigeria with promotion. All of a sudden, when Nigeria are starting, they not run away. See who fights corruption. See who will see. This thing is very unfortunate that it entered into the hands of the justice.
All right.
And we are going to suffer it more.
All right. Thank you very much, then, for calling. Thank you very much. Yeah. I think a lot of Nigerians are angry, but while we are talking on national radio, can we try and stifle our anger and just, contribute? Like I said, we're talking for national development. Just maybe we might be able to correct if what you guys are saying is true, and maybe Lai Mohammed will listen and learn it, too. I'm just saying. This one says, "Hi, Kala Dakurubatibo. Please, can you tell me the impact of the so-called TSA or the corruption fight in Nigeria? Killings are going on everywhere. Killings are going on everywhere. Hungry in the land, no job. This government is Esogwa Ugochiku from Impei Emi Owerri all the way." All right, thank you very much for that one. This one says, "My name is Imam Man Agbam from Umocham Mba Eche in River State. In line with the statement of the PMB is right in direction. Our PMB is working hard to eradicate corruption. I, Imam Man, commend PMB. He has done a lot." Sent by Imam Man. Imam Man, thank you very much for that one. I lost that one. 9541. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Good evening to you. Oh, there. We lost you. Please do call us back. 0817 000 0951 0810 9510 951 9541.
Yeah, hello, Canada.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm great.
I am faster.
I know. Yeah, welcome then.
You see, Canada.
Yeah.
I am one person that believes that nation building is collective responsibility.
All right.
And to that extent, you see, the fight against corruption, a lot of people think it's sole responsibility of the federal government, okay?
Yeah.
We are failed to understand that, you see, corruption has become a way of life for us as the people in
Very true. Very true.
So fighting corruption is like trying to, they say you don't learn left hand in the, when you are advanced in age, you don't start using the left hand. So they are trying to teach the people who have already, welcomed,
and embraced,
act of corrupt and improper.
I understand where you're going to. Yeah, go ahead. I understand it. Yeah.
See, now we're talking about TSA. If you look at what TSA has done alone to most of these ministry departments and agencies of government.
All right.
Because look at, for instance, look at the Nigerian customs. Look at JAM. The amount of money they are bringing back to government coffers.
All right.
Currently, as we speak, because of the effect of this the TSA.
All right.
A lot of people don't really, they don't understand it.
Okay.
Because corruption is not something that you can remove from society generally.
But then again, Lai Mohammed said it has become very difficult to perpetrate.
Yes, because you see, this TSA has made most of these directors, and they've not been able to really. It was a free for all in the past.
I see.
People
But then again, let's go back to how it all started. That is why I gave the background. But then again, the TSA had already started, partially in the Goodluck administration time. Wait. Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
No,
Wait, calm down. Oh my.
Okay.
Now, Mufasa, I just gave you a quote from a news daily of August 2016, where Lai Mohammed said if the TSA had not been implemented in that time, during the Goodluck administration, that Nigeria's economy would have been worse during the recession period. Like I said, it was not fully implemented, but it has started. When did your BVN stuff start? When did your BVN stuff start? It started with the Goodluck's administration. That's part of the TSA.
Canada, you see, what I know,
right.
I don't know about how your source, but what I know for a fact is that it was this particular President Buhari's administration that activated the TSC.
And I asked you simple. Wait. Yeah, that's what. This is very simple now. Wait now, Mufasa. We're not arguing. We're talking. Now I ask you a simple question. When did you go to do your BVN? That's a very simple question. That is the one that would solve all this problem. When did you go to do your bank verification number? What year was that?
Well, I can't really remember I did my BVN, but what I know is this. Yes?
All right.
The fight against corruption is a collective responsibility.
All right, I agree with you on that one.
The federal and local government.
I agree with you on that one there.
It is not a federal government fight alone.
I agree with you. Yeah. And very correct. You're very correct at that, actually. And thank you very much for calling in. Thank you very much, Mufasa. Like I said, we would talk. We would change ideas, but let's try to be constructive about it. 9541.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Okay.
Hi, yeah.
Good evening. I'm Mustafa from Port Harcourt.
All right, Mustafa, welcome.
Thank you. The fight for corruption in Nigeria is a joint effort. But the worst part of it is that during campaign, the statement made by Adams Oshomole.
Interesting.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. Adams Oshomole said, if you are in the APC, your sin is forgiven. Which he have announced to the world that any person in APC, they will not, he will not be indicted of anything. Now, if Nigeria is fighting corruption,
all right.
Since the military came to Port Harcourt to find out people that are involved in this in the crisis, in the election crisis, we have never had anything from them. That social politician is the cause of it. Social person is this. Social person is that. That is part of corruption.
All right.
Then and now, which of the person in APC in this ruling government that have been indicted?
But I told you already at the beginning of my submission that two ex-governors rather, and one of them is a serving senator. What's the name of that person again? There is Dariye and there is some other person. I can't remember their name, but yeah, two of them currently, 14 years in jail.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Then what?
Then in the case of the finance minister, that the whole world was even shouting, and when he resigned and left the country, no one knows.
All right. Thank you very. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Thank you very.
Okay, all this is part of the thing that government would have let us, the people that put them in, to know that the government is not biased in the fight of corruption.
Thank you very much, Mufasa. If you're still listening, let me read something out for you. Now, this one says the Treasury single account is a graft-checking financial management policy instituted by former President Goodluck Jonathan. Implementation began in phases under the leadership of former finance minister and world-renowned economist Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala in 2012. So, like I said, it was fully implemented, but that does not mean it had started in 2015. And my even bringing this up is, if it had already started before this administration came in, is it fair for this administration to say that their fight, because they have personalized it, that their fight against corruption has actually brought down corruption to the lowest level? But then again, why I'm bringing that up is because I'm tired of we being divided. Why can't we say, government has fought corruption to the point where corruption is no longer, the way it used to be. Must we say, oh, it's this administration? Why do we always want to, take the glory? I mean, why do we have to? But then back to the discuss. Do you think, from what you see in your society, from what you see in your community, do you think that corruption has been brought down? I mean, to the barest minimum, to the lower. If corruption was 100 before, do you see corruption at 20? Do you see corruption at 10? Do you see corruption at 5? That is what I'm asking you tonight. 95.1.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Kalada, good evening.
Hey, good evening to you.
Yeah, I'm Thompson in Port Harcourt.
All right, Thompson, welcome.
Yeah, you see, I just want to make out 1 or 2 points.
All right.
Concerning the introduction of the TSA and its implementation.
Mm-hmm.
The same reason Nigerians have for attributing the GSM to Obasanjo's administration.
The what? GSM, all right, yeah.
Yes, attributing the GSM to Obasanjo's administration.
Yeah.
The same reason should we have to attribute TSA to Harris administration, because after the time Obasanjo came into power, GSM licenses have been granted and signed and contracts given by Salam's administration.
All right.
But today, I have had this argument with so many Nigerians to the point of some people wanting to fight me that GSM was introduced into Nigeria by Obasanjo.
All right.
Goodluck Jonathan introduced GSM, TSA, right?
Yeah.
But his party men twisted him and prevented him from implementing that policy.
You're wrong. No. This is going to be an argument we will take for. I mean, you're totally wrong. You're totally wrong, Thompson, because it was. It was in use. Like I said before, it was in use. I do not really know about GSM and what was done then, but I do know that the TSA was in use as at the time of Goodluck's administration, but it was not fully implemented. How do I explain it now? It was wait. You asked me to explain and I'm explaining. It was done in phases. It was when this administration came in that they fully implemented it. They completed the phases. They completed the dose. For example, I asked the last caller who talked about it, and I said, when did you go register for BVN? When did you go register for your BVN? Because that's part of the treasury.
Are you directing the same question to me?
Yes, I am.
I registered for BVN. I got my BVN in 2017. That was when it became compulsory.
And that was when you did it. No,
BVN.
it was compulsory for me when I did it, and I did my own. I remember very well. March 19, 2015. I did my own March 19, 2015 because they were threatening to block my account already. March 19, 2015. And I remember vividly, and that is why I'm asking the same question to as many people. You did your own 2017. I really do not know why you did 2017. But I'm just trying to tell you that it has been in existence before now.
I've heard what you said. Let me take it to another angle.
All right, I'm listening.
If at the time the Buhari administration came into power, if they had decided to throw away the TSA account, will anybody
Interesting. Very nice contribution there. And that is not at all. But my question is, and I do not have a problem with this administration implementing it. It's a good one. But my point is, why do we have to play politics about it? You're talking about.
Sorry. The people that are playing politics with it, you know them and they know them.
But Lai Mohammed also played politics with it. Lai Mohammed came and said that the TSA was the policy of the current administration, and that is what has helped the fight against corruption.
No, if he says, don't laugh. If he says it was the policy of this administration, he must have considered the drive and the venom with which his administration is implementing that policy.
Interesting.
You understand me?
Interesting.
It goes back to the sentence I told you that if they had decided to jettison it, nobody would be hearing about it.
Yeah, true.
It will be free for all as it happens.
True. All right. Thank you very much, Thompson, for indulging.
No?
I can hear you. I said thank you very much for.
Then on the issue of corruption, okay?
Yeah, quickly, please.
Kalada, you've been in this country. I'm sure you are not a child. You must be a full-grown adult.
It depends on what you mean by full-grown adults.
You must have been. You must been around at least by the time the current democracy started in this country.
Obviously, I was almost an adult at the time. Yeah.
Did anybody, including you and I, ever believe that somebody from the caliphate in this country could be held for wrong behavior? Be honest. Let's be honest to ourselves.
I'm thinking about
you
it.
Understand
I understand where you're going to now.
Beautiful. Then did anybody also believe that a person that had held the position of a governor in this country could be sent to jail?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but sorry we lost you. But then again we had what's his name? What's his name again? Depri Alamesia sent to jail. But I think we're almost out of time. Interesting conversations I had. Yeah. Kalada, good evening. I'm Success. The matter of fighting corruption in this administration, a lot of people knows that it is one-sided. But we Nigerians, we the youth, the future leaders, should try our best in our little corner to do good, to also help the government in fighting corruption. Let us try to do what will bring peace and development we need in Nigeria. Now, somebody said something that really, really has got to me, and that's what Mufasa said. He said, the fight against corruption is not the government and the government alone. You and I have a role to play. I mean, we keep saying, that governor of that state, he was corrupt and he was governor. Why is the present administration not looking for him? Why are they not doing it? Because he's in the APCRP. But then again, if you can bring up proof, if you can point, because then again, there's the whistleblower policy. So if you can come out with proof, if you can come up with reasonable proof of how he stole money while he was governor or while he was, in the State House of Assembly, then come out with it and let that person be prosecuted. But if the person is not prosecuted, then we will know that the fight is one-sided. And some of you say, what about Babashir Lawal? I mean, let's give a chill pill. The matter is in court, yeah? And, what about, okay? Yes, okay is nowhere to be found, but then maybe if you keep shouting, if you keep clamoring, then maybe okay will come out from whatever corner he's hiding. But that's the much we can take on the show. It is time for us to go for the world news. I am Kalada. This has been Opinion Pool. Thank you very much for listening and contributing and texting, calling, and all of that. Let's do this again tomorrow, same time, 9 p.m. And the dial remains today, 95.1 FM. Good evening.
This is Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News.
Good evening. This is the World News Up on your premium talk radio today, 95.1 FM Port Harcourt. I am Kala Dakarubasibo. The headlines. K-Dere community in Ogoniland threatens to take legal action against Nigerian Army and SPDC over death of 2 people last week. Security operatives arrest over 100 examination cheats in Nigeria over gross malpractice during Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME. Federal government reveals plans to introduce solar-powered tricycles and motorcycles in Nigerian transportation system. On the foreign scene, United States threatens to include 5 countries in U.S. sanctions from 2nd of May over all import from Iran. Now, the news in details. The people of K-Dere community in Gokana local government area of River State have threatened legal action against the Nigeria Army and Shell Petroleum Development Company over alleged killing of 2 people in their community. Speaking in an interview with correspondent Uchendu Ejowo, the chairman K-Dere Community Development Committee, Festus Legbara, said the community have concluded plans to challenge the actions of soldiers in the community last week. Legbara made the disclosure in reaction to denial of Army about the death of the 2 persons in the community.
So they are to be held responsible. They are the people that they are going to explain to us our involvement or the reasons for the attack and the harassments that we experience this. We have asked those that has the competencies to go out and make those quotation so that we can be able to know, to ascertain what actually is damaged, what is not. But specifically, is the cause that is more important to us, but because the guy is the breadwinner to that family, and he was not on the pipeline. He was at where he was working on the Sandy School building where the stray bullet reached him. So we are on the process to get those informations accurate so that we can pass it to the governing bodies.
The Rivers State Police Command has announced the arrest of 4 suspected cultists in Rumolumeni community in Obiakpo local government area of the state. A statement by the command spokesman Nnamdi Omuni said the suspects were allegedly behind the incident Cold Wars in the area in recent times. According to the statement, the suspects were arrested last week in a sting operation at about 9 p.m., disclosing that they have made useful confessions. The command said they were arrested with 1 English-made revolver pistol and 3 live ammunition. In the meantime, the police have assured that efforts are on to arrest other members of the gang, adding that the suspects would be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded. The statement gave the details of the suspects as Gustime Rossi Wamaru, who is 20 years old from Obakiri in Emowa local government area of the state, Miracle Ogbona, 22 years from Abia State, Raymond Abdullahi Mahmoud, 21 years old from Edo State, and Gift Ugbena Douglas, 20 years old from Andoni local government area of the state. The police therefore called for the support of the general public in the fight against armed banditry in the state. The Rivers State government has assured that the reform of the state pension scheme will answer all the queries raised by retired civil servants. The assurance comes after the coordinator of retirees under the contributory pension scheme, Lucky Ati, and other retired civil servants wondered how the government plans to address some complicated issues associated with the pension scheme.
Meaning I have worked for 33 years before the introduction of the contributory pension. And so what I was supposed to be paid as gratuity for the other 33 years, that is the accrued benefit. Government is supposed to pay that into that my pension account, that is with the pension administrator. That has not been paid. They've not paid for anybody. So when are they going to pay? How will they implement the law if these things have not been done?
We are the back retired when Chibike was going, 2013. Up to now, our gratuity has not been given to us. They started giving us our monthly pension 2015. They are owing us. Those of us that retired the last stage of Road to Me and Mechi, they have not paid us. And nobody is talking about our gratuity.
But Attorney General of Rivers State and Commissioner for Justice Zacchaeus Adango said the complexities of the pension law have been identified. On his part, the Rivers State Head of Service, Rufus Godwin, told correspondent Victor Ezema that the new pension regime will be properly structured to be stress-free and sustainable.
One of the primary purpose or objective of that bill is to enable retirees who retire under this scheme to access the credit standing, the balance standing to the credit in their retirement savings account. Because under pay income regulation, unless the 3 components of the ROAC are complete in the ROAC, a retiree cannot access its balance. But if we introduce a new law, within that transition period, retirees will be able to access the balance in their respective ROAC, and that will be a fundamental benefit.
We intend, from what we have said, which you witnessed, to put in place a new pension regime that will be less stressful, that will be effective, it will be sustainable. It will meet the global parameter for a standard pension system. It must have integrity, it must be sustainable, and it must be adequate. That's what we are seeking to do. That wherever you are, you will be self-assured that when everybody else is receiving his monthly salary, that as a retiree, you will get your own alert.
The Minister of Transportation, Chibike Amechi, has urged candidates of political parties and politicians who did not emerge victorious during the last elections not to lose hope. The minister reminded the politicians that they have vital work to do in the Rivers project, adding that with wisdom and patience they will own the future. This was contained in the Easter message of the former governor of Rivers State. Amechi further reminded politicians that the task of enthroning a party into power is not as high a calling of patriotism than the task of making personal sacrifices for the peace and general good of the state. It therefore appealed to all who truly love Rivers State to join hands in building state irrespective of their party affiliations, warning that no amount of provocation or even threats should challenge the river spirit of oneness, unity and harmony in the people of the state. Amechi also urged the youth not to see crime as an escape route from the difficult times which he said is being witnessed in the state, adding that with resilience and prayer, they can always pull through. The minister, however, lamented that Rivers State is now almost always in the news for the wrong reason, saying everyone must join hands to find a way back to the path of a glorious future. He also implored everyone to ask God for forgiveness and mercy for all the things done or left undone, and from the citizens for the pain and anguish that they have suffered, which he said most times are unreported. The National Judicial Council has removed Justice Walter Onogen's name from the council's members list and named the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Muhammad, as the acting chairman. Checks on the official website of the council revealed that Justice Onogen is no longer on the list of current council members. The council list is now made up of 23 members instead of the full membership of 24, with Justice Onogen now listed among former chair of the council. This follows Onogen's conviction of false and non-declaration of assets by the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Meanwhile, the judiciary watchdog Access to Justice has faulted the procedure leading to the conviction of former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen, by the Code of Conduct Tribunal. In a statement by its director, Joseph Ote, and program officer, Daniel Aloye, the group said while it believed in the principle of equality before the law, the proceedings leading to the verdict were not fair. It argued that in the handling of Onogen's case, the CCT failed the requirement of independence expected of any court, adding that the tribunal made it obvious from the beginning that it was out to reach a predetermined outcome set by the executive arm of government. It added that it would be a serious fallacy to characterize the tribunal's verdict as one reached after a due process trial using even the lowest possible denominators of what a fair trial represents. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has fixed April 24 for hearing of the appeals filed by the Osun State Governor Adegboyega Oyetola and his party, the All Progressive Congress, against the March 22, 2019 judgment of the Osun State Governorship Election Tribunal. This was disclosed in the notices sent to parties by the court's registry. The tribunal, in a split decision of 2-1, voided the victory of Oyetola and the APC in the election held on September 22, 2018, but concluded with a rerun on September 27, 2018. But Oyetola and the APC won the Court of Appeal to set aside the majority judgment and dismiss the October 16, 2018 petition by Adeleke and the PDP. Senate President Bukola Saraki has demanded the withdrawal of what he calls careless allegations spun by national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, concerning the National Assembly and the delivery of his functions. In a statement signed by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Yusuf Olaniyonu, Saraki said the APC national leader was spreading falsehood about budget passage and delay being deliberately orchestrated by the National Assembly leadership. Tinubu, in his statement titled Tinubu Focusing on Issues of Today, Tomorrow is the Master of Itself, had said Bukola Saraki and House of Representatives Speaker Yakubu Dogara, amongst others, hijacked the budget process in the past 4 years. Explaining the procedures that had to be followed in the passage of budgets by the National Assembly, Saraki challenged Tinubu to bring facts to the table to prove his allegations or otherwise retract them. The Benue State government has imposed a 24-hour curfew on Katsina Ala town of the state with effect from today. The move is part of efforts to restore peace and ensure the security of lives and property in that part of the state. This was disclosed by the Chief Press Secretary of the state, Ede Ogaba Ede, who said the curfew shall be reviewed as the situation demands. Acting Governor of the state, Benson Agbonu, urged the people of Katsina Ala to cooperate with security operatives by obeying the curfew. The government warned that anyone found fomenting trouble in the area or in other parts of the state will be apprehended and punished according to law. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has revealed that about 100 examination cheats have so far been arrested by security operatives across the nation during the just concluded Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. In its weekly bulletin released by spokesman Fabian Benjamin, JAM said the cheats were engaged in multiple registrations to carry out impersonation during the examinations. The board noted that the act was inflating annual registration of the UTME exercise by up to 30%. JAM also said that the data available to it showed that the shameful practice was prevalent in virtually all the states of the Federation, including Abuja. Among the persons arrested was a notorious cheat who had registered about 64 times in a bid to ghostwrite for 64 candidates. The examination body said the arrest of the culprits was made possible by the comprehensive and mandatory identity checks conducted on those taking the examination with a view to fishing out professional ghostwriters before the release of the results. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAM has said any results already released but later discovered to be earned through malpractice would be cancelled. JAM said this will be achieved through the use of its closed-circuit camera CCT, which captured all activities during the examination. The board also said it cancelled the results of 2 computer-based CBT centers in Abia State over widespread irregularities observed through the CCTV during the conduct of the 2019 UTME. The affected CBT centers were named as Heritage and Infinity CBT Center and Okwizel Computer Institute Comprehensive School, Ogunabo Aba in Abia State. The board, however, said it relocated all the candidates who are taking or were scheduled to take the examination in the 2 centers to alternative centers in order not to unduly punish innocent candidates. JAM apologized to innocent candidates involved in the relocation for inconveniences they may have suffered and promised to screen results before they are released. The federal government has concluded arrangements to introduce solar-powered tricycles and motorcycles into the Nigerian transportation system. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi made revelation at a swearing-in ceremony of newly elected executives of Amalgamated Commercial Tricycle and Motorcycle Owners Repairs and Riders Association of Nigeria, Akomoran, in Abuja. Amechi, who was represented by Director of Road Transport and Mass Transit Administration, Antonia Ekpa, said the initiative would solve the fuel challenges faced by motorcycles and tricycles riders in the course of their business activities. The minister also disclosed that the initiative was included in the 2018 budget to be implemented in 2019. This comes after the Nigerian Senate during plenary on April 17 rejected a bill sponsored by Senator Ben Murray Bruce seeking to phase out the use of petrol-powered cars in Nigeria and adopt those powered by electricity. The presidency has declared that the job creation strategy of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration is yielding results. The senior special assistant to the president on job creation, Afolabi Imokwede, made the declaration on television program monitored from Port Harcourt. The presidential aide said the Empower program alone took about 500,000 youths out of the labor market. He also noted that several other programs, particularly in the small and medium enterprise and agriculture, have also helped in reducing the unemployment rate in the country.
When you talk about jobs, agriculture is one area where we've done a whole lot of work and there's been a whole lot of reforms. And if you see, there are a lot of small businesses, small businesses, even technology-driven small businesses like the Tribe Agrics and all that, that is happening in that space. A lot of aggregation is happening. A lot of exports are also happening in the agri space. And they are not old people in the jobs. There are a lot of young people and young businesses in the jobs that are also bringing in more people into jobs as well. So that's one. Aside from that, there's also been the immediate approach to stemming unemployment with the Empower program, where we have 500,000 youth across the country engaged directly by the federal government, even though they serve in all of the states and FCT. So that again, 500,000 out of the labor market. And this is aside from the many others, in the MSME framework that that we have been very much aggressive about.
The federal government has said Nigeria is not in any way near a debt crisis despite its 24.39 trillion naira debts. The finance minister Zainab Ahmed, who made the disclosure at the International Monetary Fund meetings in Washington, said despite warnings by the multilateral institutions, the country was not in any way near a debt crisis. Our position followed the report by the First Securities Discount House, which said Nigeria's public debt was high. The report showed that Nigeria still had room to borrow an additional 7.89 trillion before reaching a threshold of about 32 trillion. On the foreign scene, the United States government has told 5 countries, namely Japan, South Korea, Turkey, China, and India, that they will no longer be exempted from U.S. sanctions if they continue to import oil from Iran after their waivers end on May 2. The U.S. government granted 8 oil sanctions waivers when it reimposed sanctions on Iran after Trump pulled U.S. out of the 2015 nuclear deal. The waivers were granted in part to give those countries more time to find alternative energy sources and also prevent a shock to global oil markets from the sudden removal of Iranian crude oil. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said the purpose was to deprive the outlaw regime in Iran of funds it was using to destabilize the Middle East for decades and persuade Iran to behave like a normal country. The White House also said the U.S., Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates have agreed to take timely action to assure that global demand is met as all Iranian oil is removed from the market. Ukraine's President-elect Volodymyr Zelensky will not be scrapping immunity from prosecution for parliamentarians, judges, and the presidency. The country's new president will also not be launching or speeding up investigations into high-profile corruption cases or reducing utility rates, which majority of Ukrainians demand. According to President Zelensky's team representative, Alexander Danilyuk, none of these demands made by the citizens fall within the president's jurisdiction. Zelensky will have to match his performance at the country's polls in the parliamentary elections scheduled for October 27 in order to form a large enough coalition to govern effectively. The country's parliamentary election will hold months after the president-elect's inauguration, expected in early June. In sports, the Nigeria Football Federation says it is working hard to secure the visa that will enable stranded youth international Kelechi Nwakali to return to Portugal. The 20-year-old Arsenal midfielder, who is on loan at FC Porto's B team, is unable to leave Nigeria almost a month after playing in a qualifier for the 2020 Olympic men's football tournament. NFF's Director of Communications, Ademola Olajire, confirmed that Nwakali was in Portugal on a single entry visa and so now needs a renewal to return after he played on 25th of March. However, the process is taking longer than they hoped. Nwakali has made 16 appearances this season for Porto's reserve side, who play in the second tier of Portuguese football, but has now missed the club's last 4 league matches. To end the news, here is a summary of the major stories. The people of Kedere community in Ogoniland have threatened to take illegal action against the Nigerian Army and SPDC over the death of 2 people in the community last week. Security operatives have arrested over 100 examination fraudsters in Nigeria over gross malpractice during the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME). The federal government has revealed its plans to introduce solar-powered tricycles and motorcycles into the Nigerian transportation system. And on the foreign scene, the United States has threatened to include 5 countries in the U.S. sanctions from 2nd of May over oil import from Iran. That was the news as edited by Quentin DK. For comments and enquiries, please call 081